Now, last season, I said these are going to be 10 episode seasons. I'm going to stop in the spring. I'm going to take a break. Then I'm going to come back in the summer. I'm going to make this podcast seasonal. But if you've noticed anything from your time with me on this podcast, you know I'm a fucking liar. You also know that I don't do what I say I'm going to do. I most of the time do the exact opposite and or somewhere in the spectrum. So as you can see, this is episode 11 of the podcast. It is March 1st when I'm recording this. And we're just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep the podcast going as long as I can. And maybe I'll actually stop in April when I have to. Maybe I'll stop at the end of March when I have to. I just like doing this because it's a consistent thing I can do every week. And I find it fun just to sit and talk to people and share about my life to people, to you. So I'm going to keep it going. And then I'll see how it ends up and where it ends up. That being said, welcome to the End Goal Podcast. This podcast is a chronicling of my life. It's an archive of my life, my choices, my experiences, etc. on the way to find my end purpose in life. I'm kind of there. Not really. I've taken like 5 steps towards it. There's still 2,000 steps left, but I'm on the way there. And the goal is to also bring friends from my circle, from my kind of environment, bring the people that I look up to, bring the people that I interact with to you guys, also share their experiences, their stories, their mindsets, their obstacles with you. And hopefully, a culmination of all of this will just help you figure out what the fuck you want to do in life. Or maybe it'll give you the motivation to find something or go do something. That's mainly it. So, I was supposed to record a podcast with my buddy Andy yesterday. He came over for dinner. Ayushi and I fed him dinner. It was great. It was our first time hosting somebody. She made great pesto pasta with garlic bread and a balsamic vinaigrette salad. It was all good. It was amazing. But then we just got to talking and I never turned the camera on, so we just didn't record. I'll get on the podcast next time. But a lot of stuff came out of that talk that I wanted to talk with you guys about today. Before we get to that, though, how are you doing today? Hope your week's been well. Hope this upcoming week is going well. I hope you're hitting your goals. I hope you're setting goals for yourself and hitting them at the same time. But I also just hope you're happy and chilling and enjoying whatever you're doing. Because if you're not, get to enjoying that shit, all right? Get to enjoying that shit, all right? Life's too short to enjoy, but life's long enough to do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Got a protein shake here. I had a heavy dinner last night, so I really would just want to keep it light today. So I'm not going to eat too much. So, between the talks with Cam a couple of weeks ago and Andy yesterday, I realized that I am just very slow to act. I'm so aggressively slow to act. And I need to fix that because my personality being very chill coded is turning into less chill, more chill, less get shit done. Um, and I it's really bothering me that I'm like this because I'm like I love to relax. I love to do nothing. I love to just sit and read or game or chill with Ayushi or chill with friends on Discord and game and all this stuff. I love to do that. But that's not conducive towards what I'm trying to do in life, which is helping other people, educating other people, sharing knowledge with other people, just hanging out with this the podcast, the book channel, all this stuff, right? It's just not conducive to that. So I have to get better at doing things at a faster pace. And so Andy and I were talking a lot yesterday, and one of the last things he told me, something that he and Cam talk about themselves, is whenever you have an idea, you just have to do it. Because if you think of your bucket of ideas as like a little Pez dispenser, you have to keep getting through all those shitty ideas to get to the bottom one, which could be the golden idea. But you'll never get there unless you go through all the shitty ideas, which I know, which I think I've talked about in the past, that like you just keep doing it over again until something clicks, and you keep going through all of your ideas until like I've done all these ideas. Some of them have worked, other ones haven't worked. What am I missing? Oh, this is the idea that I want. This is what I want, etc. So I'm going to try and take just a step towards that this weekend in terms of recording. I want to record things the way I want to record them. I do love just sitting here onto my mic and just recording to my camera and then editing that, adding caption and just posting it. I fucking love that. But I also know that I like to keep things interesting. I like to have a little fun with my shit. So tomorrow I'm going to go record in a different environment that I'm not used to and things like that. What I've been doing for the past like 2 or 3 weeks is throughout, instead of like recording things periodically, sporadically throughout the week, I do try and keep it very centralized into like the end of the week is when I record, edit, and then I post things during the week. And then that way I don't have to think about like that week's stuff. I just go on, check the stats, think about like keep reading that week, keep gaming that week, and then and do other things. So I write down basically what I want to record, and Saturday morning or sometime on like maybe a Friday evening, like right now, I'll sit and record whatever I've written down for myself. So like as the ideas come, I write them down to record it like towards the end of the week instead of right then and there. That's been helping so far. So I want to keep that going. So this weekend, I'm going to try and record some more things in different ways and see how I feel. It'll take longer, but I think in the long run, it will benefit me more as well. And I'll let you guys know next week about how that goes. Also, I have to update you guys. I did say that Feel Good Productivity was going to be our podcast book of the season, but honestly, I haven't cracked it open since that one, since like I finished chapter two. Like I hadn't even finished chapter two until just now. I just never cracked it open. And here's why. I ended up tying my reading of the book to my creating a video out of the reading the book. Because what I was doing was I was recording myself and reading and annotating the book, and then I would cut it down into like a 15, 20-minute, 20-second clip and just post like, here are my notes from this chapter of Ali Abdal's Feel Good Productivity or whatever, and I would post that. And they weren't doing well at all, which is fine. But I got a little bit like about doing it because they weren't doing well. So I never posted like my third video that I have in the file, and I never picked it up again because I knew like if I picked it up, I would have to read it and I would have to annotate it. I have to like put the camera up and record it and all these things. I didn't. So I want to get back into it because because it is important to me to at least keep some sort of personal growth education active, even if I'm not using these things right now. I want to keep my brain in a learning process. I want to keep myself being able to, you know, absorb new things, process them, share them with people, try them out myself, all those things. And I can't do that unless I keep educating myself. I haven't been in a podcast mood for almost the past month now. I have not listened to podcasts, which is wild because every car ride I should be listening to a podcast. But I've been listening. I've been just like singing, honestly, because I've been enjoying singing more, which is fine. I don't want to do things just because I have to do them. I want to do things because I want to do them. So I think February was a good like, hey, chill out, good chill month. March, I know work is gonna pick up. I'm gonna be like high stress anyway. So I might as well like make other parts of my life a little bit more scheduled and static and outlined and just help that. So like I'm not like half stressed, half chill. It's just I'm, good scheduled outlined every single day, and that should help me mentally regardless. So I want to get back into reading it, but I did want to, and I'll go over what I thought about this portion of the book at the end, like we usually do. Getting back to what I was talking about, learning from Andy, for the first thing was the speed of, do you get your ideas out? The second thing was how ready he is and how great with his network he is in terms of finding people to do what he wants to do. Whether it's, hey, I need someone to master my new song, who can mix it for me? Who can I get to mix it for me because I don't have the time to, and I like the way they mix. Who can I get to help me with these videos or with these photo shoots that I want to do for this? Because I just don't have the time to do it myself. I would rather give that creativity and release that ownership of that to someone else who I trust and things like that. I haven't been able to do that because I haven't been able to properly find the people that I trust to do that for me. And I think I want to work on that right now because I want to work on it while I'm here in person around my peers before I potentially have to move and things like that. So I think I'm finally going to put into action the video style that I've been sitting on for the past half a year to almost 3/4 of a year now. I have been sitting on this archived review style. I'm gonna try and put it into fruition, and I'm gonna do it myself first to see how it comes out, how I like it, etc. I'm just gonna post it. It's gonna be my like my basically my proof of concept. And then I'm going to try and find somebody to actually take my other next ones and edit them the way I want it to be edited, things like that. I'm going to see how that goes. Next thing is still reaching out to people. Really, like, I loved having Andy over, having friends over to the house. He just could not. He kept saying how cozy the house felt, and I just was very proud of the work that Aisha and I have done put into this home, and so it was a very prideful moment. And I want to invite more people over and things like that. Just want to have more time with friends right now, when I can, things like that. So those are all kind of like the life updates recently that have been happening. They've been really fun. Really enjoyed February, to be honest. Looking forward to March now. It's gonna pick up. It's gonna pick up aggressively. I already have, I think, 3 or 4 weekends already booked this month, and I'm like, damn, this would be an adult is like, huh? Ugh. So things like that. Let's talk about Feel Good Productivity, okay? This is Feel Good Productivity, Ali Abdal's book on his journey and his thoughts into productivity. So in summary, his chapter 2, which was about power, in this book, that's to recap for you guys since we haven't talked about it in a couple of weeks. His book is split up into 3 sections. Section 1 is Energize, which talks about the concept of play, power, and people. Part 2 is Unblock, which talks about seeking clarity, finding courage, and getting started. And part 3 is about Sustain, uh, conserving, recharging, and aligning. So I'm still on part 1. Between the introduction, chapter 1 and chapter 2, I've only read 3 sections. So I just finished chapter 2, Power. And, a lot of the times when you hear power, similar to the topic that Cam and I were talking about a couple of weeks ago with the 48 laws of power, power isn't a negative word. It just gets a negative connotation. I personally think power is a good word in terms of evoking confidence. So a way to energize yourself is to give yourself more power. And the best way to do that is finding a way to increasing your confidence, increasing your competence, and or increasing your control. So he says the words competence, skill set, and ownership. I like confidence, competence, and control just to keep with the alliteration of the chapters. So his first part of the chapter was, flipping the confidence switch. Fake it till you make it, right? Pretend you're confident and you're doing something super confidently, and eventually you'll just be more confident and grow into that form or that mold you've like set up for yourself. So fake the confidence, but find the confidence some way. The next thing is competence, right? Develop your skill set and what you're doing, and that'll give you more confidence over time. It'll give you more security over time in what you're doing. A lot of the times, even the most confident people still have imposter syndrome. But as much as you can reduce imposter syndrome, that'll also reduce your friction to like do things, get started, all those things. And then last but not least is control. And this was the one that I just read today. He talks about taking ownership of your actions, taking ownership of your mindset, taking ownership of your behaviors and such. So, he drew the example of, as a teacher, you don't own the curriculum, unfortunately, but you do own how you teach that curriculum to your students. You do own potentially the way you can teach this. Now, this is a kind of a weird one to say because I know a lot of times teachers have no control over anything and they're just be told to teach something a certain way, which is completely bullshit. It's a bullshit situation for them. But in that sense, you have a lot of control over, like, I can't help the fact that I have to work 8 hours a day in an office, but I can control the fact that, like, what music am I listening to? How is my mood that day? What am I doing to improve my mood that day? What type of work am I doing that day? Or how am I doing the work? Am I doing it in a very efficient manner or a slow manner? Am I doing it with people or is it just me solo? I can control those things in that 8 hours, but I can't control the fact that I have to work 8 hours. So, let me just take control of the things that I can't take control over. And then controlling your mindset is the same way of, like, you can't control the fact that you have to do something, but you can control the way you feel about it and the way you think about it. his example was one of his that his example was something that he did in his doctor days, where he was about to leave, and a nurse asked him, "Can you please, get this person's like veins hit for an IV?" And he was like, "Damn, like if I left 5 minutes early, I wouldn't have to do this. Somebody else would have to do this. I could have been home right now, whatever it is." But he said he overheard a patient talking to her husband about how comfortable she felt in this hospital, how the doctors and nurses made her feel comfortable, and the fact that the patient that he was supposed to go help right now was a woman who was pregnant. And so him helping her and doing things properly would help ease the situation of bringing a new life into this world and all those things. So it's a very different way to think about this. Oh, I don't want to do this task, but think about the implications that that task would have on um think about the implications that task would have on other people. It's really unfortunate that a lot of the times when we don't want to do things, people tell us, "Hey, but think about this person and who you're helping and all these things." And it's all about thinking about other people and not yourself. And you're kind of taught to think like, "Fuck your negative emotions. Go help other people." In a sense, that's like the rudest way to say it, but it's true sometimes. Like we end up lowering, diminishing, deprecating, ignoring ourselves because we've been told, well, think about this person. Think about if you did this, how much would it help this person? Or how much would it help this situation that's not related to you? You don't care about them, but you have to because you're human and you want to help other humans and things like that. I think all that's great and dandy. Sometimes, fuck the other person and just do what you want to do. Now, I'm not saying that in the sense of don't go plug an IV as a doctor. Don't go plug an IV into a pregnant lady to help her kid come out like more easily and help her be in a more comfortable situation. That's not what I'm saying. You go do that. That's your civic duty. Um, but you know, my job, I don't have to work late right now. I don't technically have to work weekends. I'm not getting online on the weekend. Whoever messages me something that they need me to do, it can be done on Monday. Like me doing it on the weekend is not going to necessarily help them so much that it's going to be life changing. So I'm gonna maybe ignore emails. I'm maybe not gonna log on, things like that. Even when I am working weekends, there might be like a morning where I don't log on. I don't feel like it. I'll log on in the afternoon. Not gonna kill anybody, so I can. So I can own that mindset of let me prioritize myself, feel better, do what I want to do, and then go help this person and things like that. I just wanted to represent both sides of the coin there because I think both sides of the coin are both equally important. That being said, I am going to try and continue reading this book now. I'll try and edit those videos and get them out for y'all and things like that because I do want them archived on my pages of like if I think about I want to go back and like what did I think about this chapter? There's videos there that people can reference to like what about this chapter? What about this chapter? What about this chapter? Things like that. And I liked the way I was doing it. It was nice. It was nice lighting, good effects, wasn't glaring. All that stuff was really good about it. So I think I like to keep it going. That being said, it's only been 20 minutes now. And it's like I'm out of things to talk about. But I've been kind of fucking with the short podcast episodes for you guys because I don't want to like sit here and rant when I could. I mean, I easily could. I could sit here and rant all the time. But because a lot of the guest ones are as long, I kind of feel like, okay, well, let me just give you guys some short ones right now, little bites, short little tidbits, short little bite-sized pieces of podcastery. And then when I have people on, it'll be long pieces of podcastery and things like that. But so I'll just end it up here. Why not? I'll just end it up here. Hopefully next week I have more to talk about. I usually do. I usually have enough to talk about, at least, from what's going on in life. If you're new here, what's poppin'? Hit subscribe, like, comment. Also, go over to Etsy, check out Fableware. Go go check out the designs, go order something. They're super cozy, they're nice. Order a size up for a looser fit, for a comfier, looser fit. Order true to size if you want to be tight as fuck on you. Not tight as fuck, but like a bit more form fitting on the shoulders and chest area. But yeah, and if you're into books, go follow me every single place at Intro Archives and check out my book content. If you're not into any of that, that's fine. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. You're not new here. Do all those things anyway and share it with a person who you think fucks with the vibe, you know? I'll catch you guys later. I'll see you guys next week. And good luck this week with everything you're doing. If you need anything, let me know.